So I got a lot of messages about that 5.5 lecture quiz, so I thought I would make a quick video and help to kind of walk through this and a group effort here instead of responding to each individual email. Important things to remember, it says the population P is in thousands of Horry County, South Carolina from 1970 through 2007 can be modeled by this equation here, where T represents a year and T equals 0 corresponding to 1970. So if you only pull out the equation and ignore all the other words, you're going to be going down a wrong path and get incorrect numbers. The first type of question said, what is the population in the year 2004? So if you plugged in T equal to 2004, this is incorrect. You have to use this information. They gave you that information for some reason. You get so used to just pulling an equation out of a problem if you don't read all the words. On this test specifically, you will miss it. So if T equals 0 is 1970, you notice if I do 2004 minus 1970, this gives me 34. So this is my T value corresponding to 2004. So I'm going to plug this in. Negative 18.5 plus 92.2 e to the 0.0282. My T is 34. Do not put these two numbers together first. Follow your order of operation, and more specifically, let's use our calculator to help us with this. Just kind of plugging and checking through it. So I'm going to say negative 18.5 plus 92.2. E, that's under your LN button, so E 0.0282 times 34, and I'm going to close that parentheses. So you can see I've got all this equation in here, and I'm going to hit enter. So this gives me a value of 222.010. Make sure you round correctly. You're in college algebra, you're in college, so you should be able to round appropriately. And so this would tell me the value, but since P is in thousands, this tells me this is 222,010 people. So a couple of things that students are missing is you are not using the correct T value. You're doing horrible order of operation. Please follow order of operations. Exponents first, then multiply, then add. Now the other question that follows suits was just another year. And so that year was 1995. And so you're just going to rinse and repeat. So I'm going to take 1970, subtract it from 1995, and this gives me 25. So now my T is 25. So I'm going to go back to my calculator. My calculator saves mine, so I'm just going to go over here, and wherever I have 34, I'm going to put a 25. And so you can see it's going to spit out that value again. So that's 168.099 or 168.99 people. So make sure you're using all the information that's given. Make sure you're using the correct T value, following order of operation, and solving it from there. Now the last one says, when will it reach 350,000? But again, if you don't read, P's in thousands. So if I take this equation and I want to find when it hits 350,000, two things I need to remember. One, P is in thousands, so I'm not going to put 350 and a bunch of zeros. Just going to put 350. Then my goal is to solve for T. So again, follow order of operations. So I'm going to add the 18.5 over. So this gives me 368.5 equal to 92.2 e to the 0.0282t. Again, my goal is to get that t by itself. Then I'm going to divide by 92.2. So e to the 0.0282t is equal to this value. So I'm going to grab my handy calculator. I'll put it over here to the side so you can see my numbers. So I'm going to take 368.5 and I'm going to divide it by 92.2. It's a crazy decimal, so I'm just going to write 3.997, but I'm going to keep this in my calculator. Now, to get rid of this e, I need to ln both sides, use my inverse property to cancel that e. And so ln e, that will cancel, and I have ln of this value that's in my calculator equal to 0.0282t, and then I can divide by 0.0282. So I'm going to do ln of my answer. I don't want to type in a rounded decimal and hit enter. Then I'm going to divide it by 0.0282. So it tells me T is equal to 49.131. Now, 49.131 is my T, but remember up here, T is 25 was 1995. T being 34 was 2004. So I'm going to add 1970 to this, and this gives me 2019.131. Now this is a year. So this says in the year 2019, maybe in like January, February, because it's a small decimal, the population will reach 350,000. So I hope this helps with the lecture quiz. This did come from the end of section exercises in 5.5 in your textbook. Make sure you read all the information, follow order of operation, and interpret your problem well.